Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'll give this live video a second to go ahead and allow people to hop on. But hello, I am Tiara Abston. I am the owner of Dreamcatcher Stationery, where we specialize in creating custom wedding stationery and event stationery. So I just wanted to hop on really quick today because I want to start a series in which we talk about some really helpful tips and nuggets that will help you guys that's getting engaged to be able to navigate your whole wedding planning process and not go crazy. So we're at the start of engagement season, and I thought it would be helpful to just drop in little nuggets along the way, and you guys pick up whatever you think is beneficial for you. So I'll give it a second before we get started, but um, do me a favor and like my page on here on Facebook, but then also head over to Instagram and follow me. A lot of times I post on my Insta stories, and you can get behind the scenes footage of me doing what I do, living, creating stationery, going to events, and sharing little sneak peeks here and there. Hey, Erica, thanks for joining me. So yeah, I'll also answer a few questions once I'm done, but I just wanted to hop on here and give you guys a few tips that I thought would be really beneficial and something that I wish I would have done when I actually got married in 2014. Before we get started, be sure to head over to my website and download the free stationery timeline. That way you get a couple of freebies. I'll probably be updating it towards the beginning of the year with something else free. So if you want to subscribe, be sure to do that. But since we have one visitor at least, I'll go ahead and get started. So first installation of Tip Tuesday focuses on managing your guest list and your RSVPs. And it's one of those things where I feel like it's super important because if you start off right, you won't be super stressed towards the end of the process when you have to actually have a real list narrowed down. You have to give it to a caterer. You have to give it to somebody like me to create place cards and escort cards and seating charts and things like that. So, tip number one, tip number one, provide your guests with multiple ways to RSVP. In other words, typically you would send them a paper copy of the RSVP card along with the invitation. However, I think it's super helpful to give them another way to RSVP. For instance, giving them a wedding website to RSVP on, something like the Knot, Wedding Wire, Appy Couple, something of that nature where they can just quickly go online, put in whether they're coming or not, and then they're done. It's perfect when you have a lot of different people coming. You have a lot of different age groups, a lot of different diversities, and people have preferences. And that's just one of those things that I find to be super helpful because you put the ball in their court and you make it kind of up to them how they want to RSVP. Of course, if you're doing paper, please, and I repeat, please include a stamp for them so that it's easy for them to just drop it in the mail and they can go about their day. So that's tip number one. Be sure to provide multiple ways to RSVP. So tip number two is really important, especially from the beginning. I definitely think it's one of those things where, I have multiple brides. They have several versions of this thing. It's living and breathing, but it's their guest list or their RSVP list. So they have version 1, version 2, version 2.3, version 5, version 6, and they get stressed out because sometimes they update the wrong copy, their fiance updates the wrong copy, their wedding planner or whoever's helping them doesn't know the most up-to-date version of the guest list or the RSVP list. So my recommendation is from day one, start with one list. You can put it in something like Google Sheets or just a regular Excel file and let everybody have access to that one file. Use the functionality in Google that's the tabs that allows you to use them for different functions. For instance, you can have a tab for everybody that you're inviting to the actual wedding or everybody that you're sending a save the date and invitation to. You can also have a tab for people that actually RSVP back and say they're coming. That way you can keep it all in one consolidated place and you won't have that version issue later in the future. Hey, Amber, thank you for joining me. So yeah, as I was saying, tip 2 was to have one version of your guest list or your RSVP list so that you don't get stressed out or confused later. Need multiple versions. So I find it to be really, really helpful when you have several people managing the guest list or the RSVP list. Tip 3, this is a good tip, and I wish I would have done this when I got married, was having your RSVP cards or your envelopes that they come in numbered. And when I mean numbered, I mean super teeny small numbers in the corner so that it's easy to know who they came from. Believe it or not, people actually forget to write in their names. They actually forget to write in Mr. and Mrs. XYZ or Kim Johnson or Bill, whatever, and they just mail it back in the RSVP card. So we get it, and we're trying to figure out who it came from, and we're stressed out, and we have no idea. And it's really important when the person accepts, especially when they put their meal choice down and you have no idea who it belongs to. So I think I picked this tip up from, I don't know, one of my printers or something. It's really good to put a little number in the corner so that it's easy for you to go to your spreadsheet, your one spreadsheet, and find that person and then know what they're getting to eat and if they're coming or not. And then you're done. So I found that to be super helpful. You don't have to fumble around with trying to figure out who sent what. It's just a quick way, a quick reference for you to know who's coming to your wedding and who's not, and who actually RSVP. So I'll just do a quick recap. So there were 3 tips. The first tip was, I forgot the tips, right? So the first tip was to provide your guests with multiple ways to RSVP, a wedding website with the RSVP functionality, or have them mail back the actual RSVP card. The second tip was to have one spreadsheet with the RSVPs and guest names on there. One spreadsheet. Not 3, not 4, not 8, not 4.1 versions. One spreadsheet. The third tip was to number your RSVP cards with coordinating numbers that go along with that spreadsheet so that when you get them back, it's easy to find out who actually sent the information back to you and you won't have to stress out and call nobody and ask them like, hey, did you send this version back without any names? So yeah, those were my 3 tips. I have several tips when it comes to RSVPing because I know it can be a pain, but I wanted to hop on here for a quick tip Tuesday, get that guys to you. If you want more information, click the link above. I provided a blog post that has 5 tips to get people to actually RSVP, what you can do to get them to RSVP. So be sure to check out my blog post. Check out my website. If you have any questions for me, feel free to email me. My email is info@dreamcatcherstationery.com, or you can just shoot me a quick message on Facebook. I'm always available, so I'm looking forward to hearing from you guys. And if you have any questions or anything you would like to see on Tip Tuesday, be sure to contact me. I'm looking for content that you guys want to hear about and want to actually see. So looking forward to hearing from you. I will talk with you soon. Bye. Hey, Jen.